Unbelievably coincidental moments, as if lifted straight from the silver screen, have once emerged in the flow of history. Almost everyone has experienced moments of unbelievable coincidence in their life. For example, accidentally stumbling upon an old edition while traveling, or unexpectedly discovering that your wife used to attend the same high school as you back in the day. Throughout history, there have been coincidences so bizarre and unbelievable that they leave people utterly astonished. But everything was very sincere. Here are some similar stories. The Curse of Genghis Khan. Timur is also known as Tamerlane or Amatimer. He was a Mongolian military leader and the founder of the Mongol Empire. He was born in 1336 and died in 1405, and ruled the empire from 1370 until his death. Timur's ideal was to restore the mighty Mongol Empire of his ancestors, which had collapsed more than a century ago. He considers himself a pure embodiment of Islamic teachings. The remains of Timur Malik were buried in a mausoleum in Samarkand, Uzbekistan. But the tomb was excavated by Russian anthropologist Mikhail Sereshimov in 1941. On Thiep Mak Ni's tombstone is engraved a line of text: "When I return from the realm of death, this world shall face calamity." And the second line inscribed on his coffin reads, "Anyone who dares to invade the realm of my mind will awaken an invader far more terrifying than myself." And this coincidence can't help but startle us. 3 days after the tomb was excavated, Adolf Hitler's army invaded the Soviet Union. This invasion was part of Operation Barbarossa, and was the largest military invasion in history. In 1942, Thiep Mak Nhi was reburied according to Orthodox Islamic rites. A few days later, the Soviet Union defeated Germany in the Battle of Stalingrad. The neighbor from hundreds of years ago, George Friedrich Handel, was born in 1685 and died in 1759. He is a German composer. Here are the two natural English translations. Choose one based on context. His famous works include many operas, organ concerto, sacred hymns, and religious-themed musical theater. Messiah. Handel lived in England for nearly half a century. He passed away in London, wealthy and respected by all. He was officially awarded the medal by the state, and was buried at Westminster Abbey. 200 years later, another talented musician named Jimi Hendrix emerged in London. Jimi Hendrix was born in 1942 in Seattle, Washington, USA. In 1966, he moved to live in London, and with the support of producer Charles Taylor, he formed a band called the Jimi Hendrix Experience. Purple Haze. In 1969, after 6 months away from London, Hendrix returned to the city. He moved in with his girlfriend at the apartment located at 23 Rock Street. The composer George Frederick Handel once lived at apartment number 25. Currently, this building is under the management of the Museum of London. The passage is named Hendrix in honor of two talented musicians. The world's most terrifying figures gather in Vienna. The city of Vienna, Austria, is renowned for its unique and distinctive culture, with a Spanish-style horseback riding school and the Sawa Carnival Festival. But this city is also renowned as an ideal stopover for those seeking a temporary respite. Of the most fearsome names of all time, what a coincidence, both lived in Vienna at the same time. Adolf Hitler, Joseph Rostito, Leon Trotsky, and Joseph Stalin were prominent historical figures. In the summer of 1913, they all lived in Vienna. Hitler is said to have lived in Vienna from 1908, and struggled to make a living as a harmonizer. Stalin once lived in Vienna for about a month to write his research works on Marxism. He met the Russian revolutionary Trotsky, who had lived in Vienna for about 7 years. Here are the natural English translations based on the given options. The Yugoslav communist revolutionary who later became known as Tito. I once made a living as a machinist at a factory in the Demli region. And farmers. Hitler, Trotsky, Tito, and Stalin were all once regular patrons of Café Central. Hitler and Trotsky used to frequent this place. Perhaps they came to sip coffee and discuss current issues together? Central Coffee Shop was forced to close when World War II ended. After that, this place reopened in 1975. Now, the shop has become a famous tourist spot. Violette Jessup was a famous nurse and maritime stewardess. She also has a few interesting little stories tied to her journeys, especially when the ships encounter major disasters. In 1911, she worked as a stewardess on the luxurious RMS Olympic. At that moment, the ship collided with a British warship. The collision caused no casualties, and the Olympic ship was able to dock safely without sinking. Jessup remained steadfast in spirit after the incident. In 1912, she continued her work aboard the legendary ship RMS Titanic. The tragic fate of the Titanic has been etched into the annals of world maritime history. This is regarded as the most horrific tragedy in maritime history. Once again, Jessup was lucky to escape death and was among the few survivors. In 1916, she once again worked the night shift aboard the HMHS Britannic. Of the British Red Cross as a volunteer support worker. The ship was renovated and converted into a mobile hospital. But the ship also sank into the Azrian Sea along with 30 people after an explosion. When Jessup jumped off the ship to save his own life, she was injured in the head after hitting the ship's propeller. 4 years later, she returned to work at the White Star Line Company. Although horrific accidents had occurred before. Thus, she was hailed as the immortal beauty. Right place, right time. Twice in a row. Joseph Ficklope is a street sanitation worker in Detroit, Michigan, USA. In October 1938, while he was cleaning in a small alley, a little girl fell from a fourth-floor window. The child fell straight onto Ficklope's head and shoulders. How strange, that baby is still alive. A year later, when Ficklope cleaned up that alley again, another boy fell from the window. Like last time, the child who fell into Ficklope was also injured. But the other girl's condition has improved. Revenge or karma. According to the account, Henry G. Glenn once lived in the Honey Grove room. Texas is seen by everyone as someone who enjoys causing others pain. In 1893, he parted ways with his beloved, and not long after, she took her own life. Her family was utterly devastated. Her brother quit his job. He decided to take revenge on his own. Let my younger sister restore the family's honor. He fired a shot at G. Glenn, but the bullet only grazed past his face. And stick it into a nearby tree trunk. Here are the English translation options based on your context notes. And along with the pain of losing uncle, the longing for loved ones grew ever deeper in the heart. He also ended his own life. 20 years later, G. Glenn decided to cut down the tree with the bullet embedded in its trunk. Every year, that memory still lingers in my heart. It's unclear why he didn't. The explosion took down the tree, but it also damaged the bullet. G. Glenn was shot directly in the head and died. Some people who believe in spirituality think this is the result of delayed revenge. But in the end, it was done. Mystery_core gathers and reports news from wa.net. Uncover the mysteries and stay updated with the latest security news alongside DocTham TV. Many other YouTube channels are also being created and operating daily.